Let's start decorating for fall. We're gonna grab 4 pumpkins and we're gonna pull off the little stems. We're gonna take the small one, put it on top, and grab a taper candle. The taper candle is gonna be the guide to make a hole. Then you're gonna take an X-Acto knife and you're going to take out the area that you just drew. And see, it fits perfectly. So put a big blob of glue and put your little pumpkin on top. So we're gonna grab 2 little wooden rings, put that at the bottom, and now they are totally stable. So now we wanna take some faux branches and make this really festive. You're gonna grab your hot glue and put a little dot of glue in between the 2 pumpkins and start adding in your pieces of the branches. And these are just some mini pine cones. And we're just gonna hot glue those in a couple areas on our candle holder, and they're ready to display. Look how cute they are. I set up a little table arrangement on my outdoor dining table, and I think it looks super festive.
We're gonna start with 2 bins, some pine cones. I'm gonna go ahead and start by pouring my bleach into one of my bins. Be very careful when pouring your bleach. Start very carefully adding your water. 4 parts water to 1 part bleach. And now I'm going to take my pine cones, and you're just going to go ahead and put them all in your bin. And now I'm going to take my empty bin and set it right on top of the pine cones. My gallon water container, and I'm going to set that on top, and my gallon bleach container, and those will weigh the pine cones down so that they are now submerged. Leave those for 24 hours. As your pine cones start to dry, they're going to start opening up. Start with a big piece of this brown paper. Started with a couple of rough cut wood rounds, and I'm going to start tucking these beautiful pine cones. And then I'm going to add some of these dried grasses in some pieces of raffia, cut them kind of short and tied them in a knot. And then I'm going to mix the knots in. So my table is set, and my beautiful bleached pine cone centerpiece is the star of the table. So I'm going to start with these. So I'm going to use these for chargers, some birch logs on this kind of pine cone garland. So I'm going to put that down first, and then I'm going to intertwine it with my birch logs. And I'm just going to work these in to our garlands here. I'm going to tuck some of this down in to give us some more texture. I have a whole bin of bleached pine cones, and I'm going to add several of those. This cute little sign, just going to try and add that right here. These cute little, I think they're supposed to be Christmas ornaments, and I'm just going to tuck those in around. And the next thing I'm going to do is add my dinner plates. I'm just going to use these orange napkins, tie them in a little knot, and just put them right like so. I have a few wood slices around, so I'm just going to tuck them. We're going to add wine glasses. Made little appetizers into little campfires. How cute are those? And I'm just going to set those right on top. I'm going to go ahead and set this. Nice little camping tablescape. Like I said, it's something you could use for lots of different occasions, and you can mix it up a little bit differently. If you're not familiar with these paper runners, they are fabulous. Any paper can do. This actually is an antler that my husband picked up. I'm just going to start with my centerpiece and just tuck these white pumpkins. I'm just going to start tucking these in around our pumpkins. I have some various feathers, and I'm just going to tuck these into. So I'm going to go ahead and set my table. When you put these down, and then I put my dinner plates on them, and I just thought it added another texture. So what I'm going to do with just setting my table for 6 green cloth napkins, and I'm just going to take them like so and pull them right through my napkin ring. I'm gonna go ahead and add my flatware, and I will just pop him here at the end of the table. And my crystal stemware to each place setting.
start off, what you're going to need is 4 pieces of the Taurine game. What I'm going to do is go ahead and create a frame, and I'm going to attach them together just with hot glue. I'm going to cut this down to fit behind this frame. I just have an alphabet uppercase stamp set right here, and what I'm going to do is apply some ink. I'm going to go ahead and attach the canvas to the back of this frame.
What we want to do is take our foam pumpkins and we're going to remove these stems. Just push them down until you have them pretty flat. So we've got our 2 plates, our 2 pumpkins, and we're going to use epoxy. So I'm going to put a nice generous portion on the bottom of my plate here. And I'm going to take my pumpkin and just stick it to the bottom of my plate. And then all you need to do is leave it and let that epoxy dry. Now that I've let my 2 sides sit for just a minute so that the epoxy starts to dry, and I want to again put a nice generous portion of the epoxy and mix it up to each side of the pumpkin here. And then I'm going to attach my 2 sides together. So I'm going to start with this beautiful bronze paint. Now I want to take a little bit of gold and I'm going to just lighten this up a bit and give it some highlights. Here you have our beautiful fall pumpkin inspired cake plate.
We're going to do 3 different colors. We're going to do the dark, we're going to do the medium, and we're going to do the light. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to paint 1/3 of the way down with the light. Okay, and then I'm going to use my medium color and I'm going to paint that in the middle. We're going to take little pieces of paper towel and you're going to just dab at your paint. So we're going to take our dark paint and we're going to dab and blur that line. Then what you'll do is you'll just keep going around your pumpkin. We're going to make it out of a canvas drop cloth. All you have to do is cut on your measurements. Just pull the material. You're just going to pull these away and you've got fringe. So here's mine. So all I did was I used painter's tape and I made 2 lines and I'm going to paint in between this tape. So now we're ready to set our tablescape. We're going to add our no-sew table runner. I'm going to use these 2 wooden candlesticks and we're just going to put those at one end. And we're going to put our ombre pumpkins on top of the candlesticks. So we're just going to set that one there, tuck him right there. So we're going to put that in the middle and we're just going to tuck those around. I'm going to add some berries. So here's a few little pine cones that we're just going to add. And these are just battery operated tea lights. And I just covered them in washi tape. And there's your fall tablescape.
Let's get started with the first way. What we're gonna do is make a little base like this, add some glue. All right guys, so I have my base made. So with this one, it's the same kind of concept, but we're gonna go around it like this, put glue on each side of the bottom, and then it's gonna hold these 2 together here. So here we are, super cute. So now I have another candle, and then choose your flowers, take them off the plastic, and then you want to take the plastic piece right here off, and then there'll be a little plastic piece that goes through that. You're left with these petals. We're going to glue them flat. I'm gonna use a little bit of hot glue to kind of like melt the candle, and then we're gonna go back over it with a little bit of Mod Podge. So while this is still wet, I'm actually gonna pop these in here and see if I like them. I'm gonna let this dry, and while it dries, I'm gonna try to use these guys to make a little place for it to sit. Love, love, love this. A fall dollar store craft is definitely my cup of tea.